Election. How ready are you to take part in the polls? Today on the program, Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri speaks with journalist Hangout on G-5 governor's relationship with Atiku Abubakar and why he will be re-elected. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. If you're ready, let the Hangout start now.
Day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who are governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We have put a focus on electricity poverty. Prior to this administration, there was no coherent policy on rural electrification with key provisions of Electric Power Sector Reform Act to electrify rural populations largely ignored. This administration established the Rural Electrification Fund that provides up to 70% grants for rural mini-grid and solar home systems. Currently, Rural Electrification Fund has electrified more than 300,000 citizens.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, through this post have upscaled logistics and operational capacity by procurement and deployment of the following: purpose-built operational vehicles, including armored personnel carriers, that is APCs, patrol vans, and the water cannons, among others. You have seen the pictures of some of these vehicles that we have just shown. Similarly, additional 20,000 bulletproof vests, ballistic helmets, and other operational materials were procured by the Ministry of Police Affairs and handed over to the police force.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
A day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who are governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
My brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
A day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who were governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president, for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you for staying with us. It's called the Land of Beauty, but it is reputed for dynamic politics that can swing power in any direction, anytime. This is Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria, which has seen power oscillating between the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC, between 2015 and 2019. The governor of the state, northeast Nigeria, Ahmadu Fintiri, speaks exclusively with Babajide Kolade Otitoju on political issues like the G-5 governors, crisis within the PDP, his relationship with the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, and why he will be re-elected in March. Let's share the interview with you.
This is a special interview with the governor of Adamawa State, Alhaji Umar Ahmadu Fintiri. Your Excellency, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Speak with us on TVC.
Welcome to Yola.
Thank you so much for all you do for our people. You've been Speaker of the House of Assembly. You've been acting governor. You've literally been everything in this state. How did being Speaker and being acting governor prepare you for the job that you now do today?
Really, I thank Almighty Allah for His grace in my life. Like you said, I've been Speaker between December 2011 to the end of the tenure in 2015, May 29th. And within this period that I've been Speaker, I also had the privilege to be the acting governor of the state twice. One for about 2-3 weeks, and then one for about 3 months. And that has really prepared and sharpened my skills in governance, understanding the dynamics of the state, and also knowing the problems and knowing exactly how to tackle these problems. And when I got the privilege by the overwhelming majority of Adamawa State through their mandate for me to be substantive governor in 2019, I think I went full-blown, hit the ground running from the first day with the background of the experience I've already acquired, and so far so good.
Has studying history got anything to do with your style of leadership and your approach generally?
Yeah, of course. It has exposed me to know the rise and fall of so many empires, government, and kingdoms. And it has also prepared me in the act of governance. And I think it has given me some knowledge. But I think the practical experience has work more, adding with the knowledge I've acquired, going through some short courses and some trainings also. I think we are doing well and we are good to go. Far more.
Many governments, many governors, many presidents usually come into power unprepared. Yes, you were acting governor on 2 occasions. Will you say that you knew you could be governor one day and that you are prepared sufficiently for the task at hand?
Yeah, of course. I think every serious politician must have an ambition. And I didn't just start to end in the State House of Assembly, knowing my pedigree and exposure. So I was really doing well to ensure that I prove a lot of good points to my people so that they can believe and trust me to continue to be electing me. Probably at the time I became governor, I may not have prepared, but power belongs to God. But really, I didn't start to end in the State House of Assembly. Probably I would have gone to the Senate, but I performed credibly well beyond expectation within the short 3 months. And it becomes a shining example across the state, and suddenly the entire state trusted us. And I attempted to go for the by-election in order to complete the tenure of the former governor that was impeached. There is a machination by the Abuja politicians. They scuttled it through the court. And I think the people of Adamawa were not happy, and they waited for another 4 years after the 2015 election to entrust me again with the mandate when I made myself available through my party, which I was equally supported across the entire 21 local government. And I think the election became easy, even though I was contesting against an incumbent. But because I was prepared, had good programs, coming with the background of the performance also that I have shown to the people of the state in the State Assembly, going through various positions in the Assembly. Also, within the short stay as the acting governor, I think we're able to show the state that leadership is of different style and it depends on the individual. Within these 3 months, we cleared all the bad lucks of salaries. We initiated what they first started to see as the sign of urban renewal. I think that has opened the eyes of our people that it's not how long, it is getting the right person in the right position. That has helped us in the 2019 election, which I won against an incumbent.
You said the election was easy, but you had to go through a rerun. And many people will say, oh, you were able to win that election because the APC were quarreling amongst themselves and they had to split into 2 with Babami Mangoro's son being the candidate of a different party out of the APC.
You know, when I started this interview, I told you that God gives power. And you never know the secret as how he gives you the power. After every election, people will tell stories. But if you look at the history of that election, I led the campaign. We started from ground zero. We didn't even have a councillor. We ended the first election, which is the presidential and the National Assembly election, winning about 5 National Assembly for House of Reps in the 8 elections contested for the House of Reps. We won 5 out of 8. We won 2 out of 3 senatorial, overwhelmingly. They managed to beat us in the central zone. So we won for the presidency. So you can see that we have already closed the space, even in the first election. We won the majority of the state, House of Assembly seat. And of course, in the governorship, the election had to now reduce to our local scenario. About 29 of us contested. So definitely the votes have to split. We wouldn't say the story would be the same as when the presidency was a straight contest between President Buhari and our candidate, Vice President Atiku Abubakar. So coming from outside to beat an incumbent in the first election with over 32,280 votes, I think is wonderful. And I don't expect any story to come around it. Yes, INEC said the election wasn't concluded. But to me, even in the first day of the election had been concluded. They say we are going into a rerun for 35,000, which means we are looking for a difference of 2,000 plus. I'm taking this time to give you this scenario so that you know that there was no need for the rerun. INEC have on their record that only 19,000 collected PVC in the 42 units that will be contesting for the 35,000 votes. So there was no need to declare the election inconclusive. And we ended up in the 19,000 that collected, 11,000 only casted their vote, which I got over 10,000 out of the votes at the end of the day. So if you look at it mathematically, if I've already given the second runners-up a gap of 32,000 plus, and the remaining total votes in the 42 units is 35,000, and only 19,000 collected their PVC, was there any need for a rerun? There is none. So I know that from the onset I have won the election. And in any case, I needed to get only 1,500 votes in the rerun, even if it's 35,000 that collected their PVC. The incumbent needed to get 32,280, which is an uphill task for any politician to get that, because, and the mistake of the APC is that in all the 42 units, there was in our strongholds, after disrupting the election in the 42 units, at the end of the count, we're still leading. And these are my comfortable zones, comfortable units. That is why at the end of the day, we won in about 41 of the 42 units.
Now, we always hear this story that if not for the crisis between the APC, which made former Governor Murtala Nyako to withdraw support for the governor, then Jubrila Bindo, that the PDP would not have found a way back to clinch power. Do you think you will have won?
Some of these stories are fashioned to me. In a way, they are playing God. I've already given you a scenario in the first presidential and the National Assembly election, how we have already dealt with them, hands down. So are they going to bring another different votes from the moon to come and cast it for them in the governorship election. It is the scenario from the presidential election, out of the campaign and the mobilization we have done, that had pushed the PDP winning from the presidential to the governorship. Any other story, I think, is...
They always say that...
Of course, when politicians lose election, they will always tell stories.
Yes, they say that if Abdulaziz's result
God will have
matched...
God will have still given a different result. It will have still spoken in the minds of the people to cast the votes in a way that I will still have won against anybody.
So you are destined to win the election?
I was destined to win. It's my time. And any one of them can attest that I was the most popular candidate in that election. I don't want people doing make a mistake.
Would you say the APC underrated you at some point?
I wouldn't know. But because you cannot underrate a politician of my pedigree. They know me. And we know each other. We were once in the same party. We are friends. So we understand the game together. We have helped each other. And like I told you, we led a campaign that we're already standing tall, winning 5 of the 8 reps, winning 2 of the 3 Senate, winning the presidential against an incumbent president. So what is so difficult in beating an incumbent governor if we have beaten an incumbent president here in the state?
Okay, let's leave that and move on. The president gave you an award for good performance in the area of infrastructure development. How did you feel picking an award from somebody from a rival party?
It doesn't matter to me who gives me the award. What matters to me is whether I merited it or not. And of course I merited it because the independent body that came to carry out the survey on behalf of the public service, I think through the office of the SGF, I didn't know them. The only time I knew about it is when they sent me a letter that I have won the award. I didn't know when they were in the state. I didn't know how they carried out their survey. But I had always known that in terms of performance, in terms of infrastructural delivery, we have done wonderfully well in the state. So any genuine person that will come around and see what we have done from the airport to the government house is enough for you to give us an award. If you take further step to go around the state, you will see our footprints in terms of infrastructure delivery all over. If you go further to the 21 local government, we're all over. If you go to all the 226 ward, we're there. So it's not a surprise to me. And it doesn't matter who gives me the award. What matters to me is whether I merited it or not. And I think I merited it.
Now, talking about infrastructure renewal across the state, my question is, beyond the very visible road reconstruction that you have done, that we can see, especially the state capital, the bridges and all, what other areas have kind of arrested your attention in the desire to take development to all parts of the state?
The state was suffering from underdevelopment when we came. And we felt with the caliber of the sons and daughters from this state, I think they deserve a better, beautiful state. And not just the state capital, but across all strata of political areas, the 21 local government, the 226 wards. And I think we sat down and mapped out our development plan. And we felt we needed to go full-blown and Iola through a new bypass. I think we have constructed a lot of roads within the metropolitan. If you go around, you see new roads. We have equally gone to all the 21 local government to construct roads. We have built over about 350 kilometers of rural roads. But I think where we have done wonderful things, we have rehabilitated and expanded all our general hospitals. We have built a one-stop laboratory shop that none of its kind can be found in the northern part of the country. We have built over 50 primary health care centers in wards that didn't exist before. We have rehabilitated about 17. And in the education sector, we have built and rehabilitated over 5,000 classrooms. And that has earned us a reward by UNICEF for them to come in and build and rehabilitate about 90 schools in 2 local governments of Fufore and Wike. That is because also the government that we took over from them couldn't assess the UBEC counterpart projects. We're able to assess 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Now again, we're working on 2021, 2022. So you can see what has given us the age and the latitude to deploy the kind of infrastructure that we're able to do. And like I said, it's not just the roads, but the roads are also something. I've equally completed all the abandoned roads by my predecessor. I've connected over 37 kilometers between Kiri to Shellen. And it has been long commissioned. But like I said, what will baffle you if you go around is the brand new 8 cottage hostels with full staff quarters.
In the rural areas?
Not in the rural areas. In local governments that hitherto didn't have cottage hostels.
Okay. Tell me about the state university and what you are doing.
Yeah, in the state university, I think is another area. We have really positioned the education sector. We knew after positioning the primary and the secondary schools, and also recruiting qualified teachers, deploying instructional materials to our schools, we knew we were going to have a bumper harvest from our students in terms of performance. And today we have built a brand new university in the state after doing a lot of structural buildings in the old campus, completing the ICT centers, building more lecture theaters, and us building about 6-kilometer roads within the university community. We have also built about 2 auditoriums for lecture that can take 500 students each.
Now, there is this recurrent question that people ask on social media when they see some of the successes recorded by governors from northern Nigeria. The question they ask, especially if that state is not an oil-producing state, the question they ask is, where are you getting the money? How are you able to, despite the limited resources, able to put these structures on ground, able to achieve so much?
I think it depends on the individual style of leadership. And it is not how much, but how best you utilize the resources, especially if you deploy a lot of prudence and discipline. I think you achieve so much. And I think with the fiscal discipline we have employed into the system and cutting waste within the system also, I think that has helped us to achieve all the development and the human capacity development also that we have been able to achieve. Not just these ones I mentioned to you, but I must also tell you that within this period, all our students have not been paying Wike and NECO. Government pays for them. We've also been paying bursary to our students. We feed our students in the secondary school for free with a balanced diet. But that didn't also just come from the blues. A lot of work have been put into the whole thing, and especially in improving the IGR.
Yes, I was going to ask, where are you on IGR?
Yeah, we have done relatively very well. From my coming to now, I think we have tripled our IGR as to how we met it. And that is also because we were able to develop a concept that has positioned Adama as the hub of cattle in the country through ADASP, Adama Agricultural Program. And that is giving us a lot of revenue. You see, we have done a survey scientifically from Mubi cattle market alone. Every year we take about 29 million heads of cattle to Lagos. And if that is slaughtered in Lagos, from my finding, Lagos state government charges 10,000 for every cow that is slaughtered in the abattoir. That translates to about 29 billion, only from Mubi cattle market. And we have about other 32 cattle markets across the state. So we developed a concept that has even, for the first time, the capital market listed it, and it's the only agricultural program that is listed on the capital market, and that has earned us about 25 billion in the first instance, and that has been fully subscribed, and we're likely to draw down about 100 billion in the next 4 years. And also is fetching a lot of revenue into the system. We're already talking in the last stage. We're also having our abattoir here with the Malaysian investors that will be slaughtering about 2,000 cows. And the program is capable of giving our youths about 1.5 million jobs indirect, about 750,000 direct jobs. We shouldn't just be looking at the states that produce oil. Every state in this country has one resources or the other that, if fully developed, can earn them a lot of IGR. And except if you are being lazy, except also if you don't put a lot of ideas into it. We're helped by Arewa Research Development Center. And those are the consultants that also help Erify to develop his IGR using land. We develop ours using agriculture, cattle being the hub. So this program is, in the next 5 years, will be giving us about 25 billion naira annually. And we're at the climax of developing it in its full capacity. So that will help us a lot, and probably we won't be dependent on the FAC for us to turn around things, to build the capacity of our civil servants, because they're the drivers of the policies and programs of government. So we never leave them behind. And that is why, since the inception of this government, we've taken them in high esteem. We pay their salaries, gratuities, and other emoluments within the 22nd and 23rd of every month.
With all that you have done in 4 years,
In 3.5 years.
in 3.5 years, okay, are you convinced that the people of Adamawa State will reward you with a second term?
Landslide.
Landslide?
Yeah.
Can I take that to the bank?
Take it to the bank. It's a bond.
Because
Who are we contesting with?
we are told that the APC is rejuvenated now, and that with the woman that they have as candidate, you know as a politician that women are easier to mobilize, and they turn out in good numbers on election day. So there is already this groundswell of expectation and optimism that Adama may produce the first elected female governor.
I think these are wishes and speculations by the APC, who are used to propaganda. They know this is not their state. They have no space to operate. And they know they cannot come near this election. But, you know, just like a student preparing for an exams, even if you have known everything in the books, you continue to read until you get into the hall and you write the exams and you pass. You never rest. I think that is just what is happening. Because it's an election and we are used to it as a custom. We have to go around to mobilize our people. But even if we remain in the government house, I still believe in the 226 ward, 4,104 units of the state. I think they won't come close.
You are talking like APC has never won a governorship election in this state. They've won before, and
even
since
when
they won before, the possibility is always there.
Even when they won in 2015, I think it was because of the crisis and scandal that engulfed the PDP then, because of the way and manner the primaries was conducted. This had always been a PDP state. And I think with the performance, and it has further deepened and consolidated the position of PDP in this state. But you know, because they can always use and assess some patronage from the federal government, they have to contest the election. But deep in them, go and ask them, lock them in their rooms and ask them, can they contest? Are they sure of contesting this election against me? They will tell you no. There is no chances for them to win this.
But that's not what they are telling me. They are telling me that they will beat you.
Of course, they will always stop that because they will get patronage at the national level. There are people that will help them.
They are telling me that Binani, the candidate of the APC, she's a grassroots person. For that reason, they are confident. They even told me that you are so scared that you had to drop your deputy and pick the woman.
I think, I don't think they will always tell you that.
That's what they told me.
You don't have the confidence to say that.
They said you had to go and pick a woman just to try and match them.
Politics is dynamic. I think at this time I needed somebody also who will help me. I needed also to balance gender. I've always been gender sensitive. So I picked a woman of substance, a professor, a vice chancellor, so that in my second coming, she can balance things for me and help me where I need her. I think that is just all.
So
I'm not depending on anybody's strength.
It wasn't meant to try and get the votes of the women.
I think I'm a darling of the women by the way and manner I have treated their children. I've just told you in this interview that mothers in this state are so happy with me, with the way and manner I've been paying the work and labor of their children.
But one of them will be on the ballot.
Their children.
You know, blood is thicker than water, Your Excellency. And one of them is on the ballot. It's different.
With the way and manner I have to their children. I think anytime, any day, the women will always vote for me. I think APC primaries is different from Adamawa general election. We have to differentiate that. Because she won in a total of so many men contesting in the APC primaries, doesn't give her an age, doesn't make her popular, and in any way doesn't make her a grassroots politician. But anyway, just for the purpose of the way and manner you asked me the question, or else I wouldn't have joined or mentioned anything about APC here. Because to me, they don't exist, as far as I'm concerned. In this election, there is no operating space for them, because we have dominated the entire space with development. And that is what our people need. The government is working. We are already having a new Adamawa. Adamawa of the expectation of the majority of our citizens. Everybody is happy.
So no room for APC to bounce back.
We have a better and responsive security architecture in this state. It surprised you that this state is so calm. Security has almost reduced to single digits in this state. You don't hear about farmer herders clashes again.
Or Boko Haram.
Or the miscreants that we met within the metropolis called Sheila boys.
What did you do to them?
I stamped them out. Some were rehabilitated, they were given them jobs. So I don't think with all these key drivers of performance that were, I don't think they have to try. And because, like I told you, they have the presidency. So they will always encourage somebody to contest here so that they can manage to have the 25% constitutional requirement. And even this time, they are not likely to get 15%.
That's talking about the presidential
And
election.
every other candidate.
But the governorship election is the bone of contention.
The governorship is not to be contested between PDP and APC.
It's going to be contested between Binani and
Between
Fintiri.
PDP and PDP. It's for us to take. But it's a matter of time. 11th of March is not far away.
So those who have been telling me that Binani is on ground, they've been lying to me.
They are mere speculation.
They've been lying to me. That's what you're saying.
Of course.
Okay.
Go around the town from the airport to the government house. You have seen wonders of things that you didn't expect to see.
But Your Excellency,
when he arrived for their Jamboree rally, I was driving with him to the Lamidos Palace. He had to ask me, it has been long I didn't come to this state. This state is looking beautiful. I said, sir, that is why you awarded me. It wasn't by mistake. It's because of this performance, wonderful, beautiful performance, edifice.
Do you acknowledge it?
Of course, he acknowledged it when I was driving with him. Because you can't take away your face. There are tangible things you can see. But there are developments that you even if you're an enemy of this state, you should be proud of. We're everywhere.
You know, sir, that you have to get your politics right. Yeah. I've seen governors who performed and were not re-elected.
I'll be re-elected, inshallah. Because I know Adamawa people rewards performance. And they have never seen it this good.
Okay.
It's not politics. It's reality. I had time to x-ray some of this development for you within 3.5 years. And considering the economy of this state. Nobody is complaining. And they're already comfortable that we have charted the way forward for this state. We have laid a very beautiful foundation. So we'll get to greater heights. And I think at the moment we are already competing in terms of development with the big states in the country. If you measure my performance here with what the Lagos State governor, where you come from, is doing in comparison with our resources, you know that I'm far better. Compare me with Lagos, Rivers. I'm already competing with the oil states. You have just said it. Where did I get my money? So you think Adamawa people will shy away their face from this development and choose mediocrity for performance?
I hear some of your detractors say that the PDP is not united in this state. They are even saying that between you and Waziri that the relationship is not good enough. They are the ones saying it, not me.
I heard it from you.
What is the relationship between you and the presidential candidate of your party? Is there really a kind of not so good relationship between the two of you?
I never envisaged anything like that. My relationship with him is that of father and son. Very smooth.
Does he
very
like
friendly.
You? Does he like you?
100%. And I like him 100%. And that is why I'm championing his campaign in this state. Have you seen him coming to the state? Because he's comfortable. He has a governor in whom he so much trusts. He has a governor that in whom he so much believes in his capacity. He has a governor that he knows can drive home support for him to win the election. I did it for him when I was not a governor, and he won this state. So how more of now that I am in charge as the chief executive of the state, as the leader of the party. And the party in Adamawa, PDP particularly, is united and one family. We are not APC, we have leadership.
So
we didn't just come to win election. We have history. We have mechanism for solving our problems. We are not saying out of the primaries we didn't get some issues, but they were fully resolved.
Some left your party to join APC. Like Elisha Abu, for example, was in your party.
He decamped long time, about 3 and almost less than 6 months into the tenure. So it wasn't because of any crisis within the party.
Maybe,
it's not just because of any primaries. I think this story should be said about the APC in Adamawa and APC in Nigeria. And that is why this election is for take from the national level to the state level for PDP. We're selling a very good product.
Now, your colleagues, some of your colleagues have decided to work at cross purposes with the rest of you.
We're hoping it will resolve before election.
That's,
The big parties like ours, the PDP, will always have this little crisis. But I'm assuring you it will be resolved.
that's the G5. They'll be back to the fold.
They will be back, and we're going to work together. We're working on it. Of course, issues will always arise.
Why has it been difficult to put this matter to bed since all this?
It's even better in the PDP that we can see what is happening that you think is a crisis. The APC is engulfed in multifaceted crises that they don't even know where they exist. All over the grassroots is a crisis for APC. Within the ranks and files of APC are crises. Why are we pinning that of PDP only to the 5 governors? And by the way, who said elections are won on the strength of governors?
You just said that as incumbent you are going to help Atiku to win.
I didn't say because I'm going to win the election because I'm an incumbent. I said because I perform credibly well.
And those
There's
governors,
something working for me.
Wike to perform very well, and that makes him strong.
I am not saying they are going to lose election. I'm only saying elections shouldn't be tied to governors.
But governors are very important.
We are going to resolve it.
Do you, your friend, Governor Wike is your friend.
Yeah.
We know he's your friend. When you talk to him about the need to let this matter slide, does he not?
If I'm telling you with confidence that this matter will be resolved with the election, is because I understand them as my friends. But let's leave that of the PDP aside.
Because your party has to be united to win an election. That's
It's
the point.
the APC united. From rank and files to the stakeholders, are they united?
But your party doesn't have to copy them.
Have you seen the presidential candidate of APC going around with those who contested the election with them? Primaries. Who is going around with him?
You mean the people that...
Contested with him in the primaries.
I saw Amici here.
Where?
Amici was here.
Where?
I saw Amici.
Where? I don't know where. Where did he see him?
Even in Yobe, Amici was
Where
there.
was he? He went to see the president.
He was at the rally.
He went to see the president.
At the rally.
Yeah, because he know that the president attended these 2 rallies, so he went to see him since he's no longer a minister, so he wanted a privilege to see the president.
But there are other people that I
Why
defeated.
didn't he go to any of the rallies in the southern zone? Why didn't he go to any of the rallies in the north that were conducted?
Amici was in Jos. He was in Jos.
He was nowhere. The president was also there.
But the APC are confident that they will win this election.
Of course, the PDP is more confident that we win the election. I've just told you.
So,
anyway, the winning the election is not for debate here. I think Nigerians have already taken their decision.
you are privy to the decision they have taken.
I am a grassroots man. That is why you have not seen me, even as a sitting governor, conducting a jamboree rally in the state capital. I go to counties, I go to villages, I go to wards to canvass for my votes. All the crowds you see, they are not hired crowds. They are people who meet at their homes.
Well,
So it is with that confidence that I'm telling you we are winning this election and we are winning the presidency.
I have to congratulate you for your work.
Thank you.
And wish you Godspeed as you move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to having another interview with you soon.
Thank you.
Especially after the election.
Okay.
We'll have a lot of stories to tell.
Oh no, Amadou Fintiri. Jide, die-hard optimists, politicians.
Yes. instead of addressing the crisis in his own party, he kept attacking the APC, that APC is in greater crisis. Well, even if it's assumed that they are in greater crisis, must your party copy them? You don't have to copy them. You know, so every party that wants to win an election has to find a way to resolve its differences. That is the point. But well, I enjoyed interviewing him, especially towards the end of the show when he didn't like to be told about the problems within his party.
And he said the conflict with Governor Wike is going to be resolved before the election. I wish.
We are waiting.
I'm waiting.
We are waiting.
And that's our offering today. Jide, I want to thank you.
Thanks.
Join us tomorrow, same time, for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. Join us for Journalist Hangout on Sunday, this Sunday, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We'll be right back after this time out, so please don't go away.
Every week, Green Angle, in partnership with Wild Aid, will bring you a documentary series on environmental issues affecting Nigeria's amazing biodiversity, from climate change, air pollution, and wildlife conservation. We will be traveling across Nigeria to give you on-the-ground report of the issues affecting our environment. It airs every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
It's the most visited state in Africa. As the 5th largest economy on the continent, covering Lagos and its government is no mean feat. It's a busy beat. We go beyond the cutting of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos State government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
Stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadeni. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Laborlands, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Laborlands, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're